Welcome to the Future Jam. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm joined with our good pal, Alex.
Hi, everybody. It's me,
How
Alex.
you doing on this fine evening?
I'm doing good. Just enjoying life. The weather's getting nicer.
Oh, man, is it ever. Lots of walks.
See, that's what I don't like about the nice weather. You got that spring and fall time where people expect you to be outside and walking around and doing activities. That's why I like the winter and the really hot. Because you have an excuse just to be indoors, and people don't oh, what you do? Oh, nothing, because it was 10 degrees outside.
Yeah, you don't have any excuse in times like this. You're either outside or inside doing some chores.
Yeah, people always want to eat outside, and I hate eating outside.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of eating outside.
Well, it's you can never get comfortable. That's my complaint.
The outside chairs are never as comfortable as inside chairs. No. The temperature is always either too hot or too cold.
Yeah, you get the sun beating down on you, or you get that slight wind chill.
There's always insects flying around, buzzing around your cup or your food.
Yeah, I hate eating outside at places. Not a fan.
Overrated. Maybe in California it's nicer where there's no humidity and far fewer insects, but yeah, here it's not worth it.
If you're giving me something to look at, like a beach or something like that, I'm fine with it. But just eating at a restaurant downtown to say oh, we ate outside, I have no desire.
It can be relaxing at times if it's perfect situation like you said. But yeah, I 99% agree with you on this one. So
The new Future Jam tagline: Welcome to the Future Jam. We hate eating outside.
We do. And what's dumber than eating outside? And that's Gatorade's new sweat patch. A $25 investment to find out how much you sweat. Can't you just tell by the clothes you wear, how sweaty they are?
Well, you don't know what you need to replenish yourself and how much water you need to drink after you work out.
Oh, God, before this, who would have known? People are dropping left and right, dying on the side of the road because they don't know how to hydrate themselves.
Yeah, so Gatorade announced the new Gatorade GX sweat patch that touches your sweat for smarter hydration. So
Whoa.
you get, for $25, you get 2 patches.
They're not reusable.
They're reusable. So, and they said you should use, a patch for, different activities. So if you are running, use a patch for that. But then if you're going to play basketball, you should use a different patch for that to get, the baseline for that sport. And then depending on the weather, you should use. So if it's hot one day, you should use a patch and then test it when it's low.
There's so many different variables. Just buy a bunch of patches and find out, okay, on 70-degree weather, I usually lose about 1 liter of water and this much salt, so I need to buy this much Gatorade to restore my health. It's just a marketing gimmick to buy more Gatorade, which is not healthy.
And then you take a picture of the patch and it tells you on the app what you should drink. Drink more Gatorade.
Yeah, it probably doesn't tell you, drink this off-brand one that's a lot cheaper, and you kind of have to do that on your own.
What's the Christmas story when he does, the mystery word and says, drink more Ovaltine? That's all it is.
Yeah, it's a waste.
It's Gatorade always does that, because they ran commercials years ago where, they were bad-mouthing water. They're water only does this for you, Gatorade does this. So water's been keeping people alive for how many years? Millions?
A long time, yeah.
Or 6,000, depending on what you believe.
Your body will ask for salt. You'll feel that sensation. I need something salty.
Yeah, but it's just a marketing for them to get into the wearable tech. People will buy this crap.
They will. People who buy all this expensive garbage for exercising and never actually end up exercising. Okay, this is what I'm going to do to finally get over the hump. If I buy all this equipment, I'll finally get into a good routine, and that's not enough.
I feel like this is a shot at me when I bought my weight.
You bought your what?
We went to we were at Goodwill, and they had weights on sale, and I just bought one weight. So, because I was I'm just going to use one at a time. I'm not buying 2. So we just have one weight in our house. You need to switch arms when you're done. It's just a dumbbell.
Oh, I got convinced I needed this dumbbell set 10 years ago, and I messaged some guy on eBay that was selling a huge dumbbell set for $80, which is pretty cheap for all the different sizes. And he's like, all right, I accepted this offer from this many people, and it's first person here gets it. He said, I'm not going to close the deal with anybody. If you're here first, you get this dumbbell set. And I like ran out of my house, jumped in the car, sped, and it was back before there was like maps on phones and stuff. So I had to print out like the directions on a sheet of paper, and it wasn't fully correct. And I saw other vehicles like circling the area too, like looking for this guy's location. And I finally found it, and I loaded all these stupid weights in the back of my car, and then I used them maybe once or twice, and I'm like, yeah, they're kind of, the handles are kind of rough. I don't really like using these. So I just lugged them around from move to move to move. Not a good investment.
Do you still have them, or did you?
I don't even know. I looked for them the other day. I don't know if my wife threw them away or they just disappeared. I don't know.
I can see you still having them. You want to get into quick tech bites?
Yeah, let's jump into tech bites. First one is they announced next gen United States Postal Service vehicles.
Get new trucks.
Picture looks kind of goofy. It looks like a nerdy vehicle, like the nerdiest vehicle possible.
It does. It looks like, I thought it kind of looked like a duck. I don't know. For some reason, it looked like a duck to me. Like,
we'll post a link, and I might post a picture on our Twitter or whatever. But it's a long time overdue because they've been driving around these old vehicles that don't have air conditioning or really any tech in them at all. So they're just basically old Jeeps or old vehicles that are like specifically designed for the post office. Not great, but they've lasted a long time.
Yeah, they were about to last,
But yeah, these ones will have finally electricity. They'll have like all the sensors on it to, stop people from backing up into things, or cameras, the whole shebang. And I guess also they're saying that some of these are going to be electric vehicles and some are going to be gas. And I guess the gas ones can be retrofitted to electric once the technology gets good enough. I don't know who's going to pay for that, but yeah, that's the nutshell.
Yeah, it makes sense that they're going to move to electric, probably to save money. But yeah, they're ordering. The first one's going to come out in 2023. I'm getting like 50 to like 165,000. It seems like they're going to make them more electrical as it goes on. But it's exciting. Yeah. Something new.
There's a local company that is like mad they didn't get the deal. They make all electric trucks, and I guess they're mad that the post office is mainly doing gas engines now and then eventually doing electric. So they're saying, oh, you should do all electric and you should re-look at our deal and choose us instead. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, like you have a lot of places where like, I'm not sure if they could retrofit the like storing areas to be electrical. Like that's going to take time too. So they're going to need new cars quick.
Yeah, this company, I think it's called Workhorse, but they're in, I think, northern Cincinnati area. They don't even have like the ability to make that many vehicles yet. They're only able to make like one a day, they said currently. And the tech's not there, like you said. They'd have to retrofit all these post offices with chargers, and I don't think the range is there either yet.
No,
so it doesn't make sense to do all electric vehicles right now. Because the tech gets better and better every year. So it's not like a tech like a smartphone where the smartphone's about as good as it's going to get for a while. So it just doesn't make sense. This one you added to the list, but Nerf reveals a new hyper next-gen capacity blasters. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of complaints that we don't talk about Nerf products enough on the show. So
by like the 5-year-olds that listen to the show.
We're very big in the kindergarten community.
We are.
No, but they created these new Nerf guns. They range from like $30 to $50. They'll have so it's the big thing is the fastest reloadability of any Nerf gun. And what they're kind of like is just paintball guns now. So like the smallest size can hold like 40, and it's like a single shot. The next size up can hold like 50, and it's a shot like a shotgun pump. And the biggest side is like a semi-automatic one. but like you can have extra clips and you can just clip on. And they made the balls smaller. They can go up to like 110 feet, but
yeah, kids' toys are way cooler now than when we were kids. I feel like some of them at least.
well, like
Because Nerf guns when we were kids, they were just the cheapo like darts that would fall apart, and I had a Nerf bow and arrow.
I love the Nerf bow and arrow.
It was cool, but it didn't shoot that far.
Yeah, if you weren't good at it. I was like Rambo out there.
But then when you lost all the little darts, like my parents are gonna buy me new darts. Like,
No, that's the thing about these balls is like you have to lose them so easily, right? They look pretty small, but I guess if you're just like buying them and you can buy reloadable packs.
That's why they made them small, definitely, because they want you to lose them so you keep buying more.
Right now, I always miss like losing the darts and then randomly finding them like months later, and then they go, oh, now I got all my darts again, and they shoot it off, and then you lose them.
Yeah, darts are kind of fun because you can shoot them at the window too, and they'd like have that stick sound, and it just was satisfactory to hear it hit that window, and it was cool. But yeah, next up is the Google TV will include a new basic mode to make your TV dumb.
Yeah, so everybody knows smart TVs are the future. They come with the apps on them and all. But some people don't like them. Some people like their privacy. Some people like their Roku sticks, their Apple TVs. So at setup, you can on new processing.
The Google TVs ones that have the built-in Google TV.
And the Google Chromecast and like the Sony TVs and all you can set up a dumb mode, as they're calling it, which is just a basic turns your TV into an old TV. So you can use your HDMI, you can plug stuff into it, but you won't have like the apps on it.
Yeah, I would like that because I have a Roku TV, but I don't use the Roku TV. I use the Google Chromecast one. But I don't think there's a way to turn off the Roku TV. So I have to open the Roku app and then open the Google Chromecast. So it saves you a step, and plus you don't have two companies tracking you and whatnot. Because everybody knows that's why they want to have smart features built into a TV so they can track what you watch and like your habits and get an advertising profile for you and sell that.
Well, then, like, if over time, like, your smart TV does become out of date after a while. So, like, some applications that you might have it aren't offered anymore, and you have to update, and they slowly stop updating the older models.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just stuck. So, like, we had a smart TV, and part of it, the antenna for, like, the regular TV broke. Like, the part in the back that stopped working, so you couldn't get regular TV. So we just moved, like, another flat screen upstairs that was what we call a dumb TV, I guess, and have a Roku stick, and it's fine. I like it. I mean, it does the same thing as a smart TV does. It loads a lot faster because you're not, like, trying to load all the apps when you turn on your TV and all.
Yeah, that's annoying. Like, my Roku TV loads everything up when you turn the TV on.
And they must see that sales of these regular TVs are still selling, that they're willing to put this in. That's what I get. And these companies don't want to make two TVs, really. They just want one, and this way you have the option to do it if you would want. Yeah,
I don't know why they're making this move, but I guess it's just maybe, like what you said, just give customers more options. But
I was going to say the thing, if you do it, you have to do it at setup. So once it's already set up, you can't go back and put it into a basic mode.
Gotcha. So let's jump into our next story, and that's kind of an interesting one because you just assume this is where tech is going, and ZTE is showing off an under-display facial recognition camera system for phones. They already had like a front-facing camera like under the screen before, like last year's model. So this solves the issue that Apple has had for the longest time, where they have to have gigantic notches on the top of their phones just to unlock your phone. They couldn't like put an under-screen fingerprint reader on there for some reason, but
yeah, it's interesting, and they're saying like it's going to make the technology work better. Like it's already in the testing, it's proven to be better than the current technology out there for facial recognition. And they're saying like if this gets good enough that they can use it for like making things more secure, so you can pay with your facial recognition and things like that.
Yeah, they said it takes a 3D map of your face 10 times, and basically it's probably secure enough to do mobile payments, like you said. I assume Apple's has this tech as well, or they're working on it. They just probably aren't releasing it until it's perfect. That's what Apple does. So I'm not saying this next iPhone will have this, but I'm thinking the iPhone 14 maybe will have this on no notch on the iPhone 14.
Yeah, and that would be like the big announcement.
Yeah, that would
like,
be their big announcement. Because that's one of the biggest drawbacks to the iPhone is that stupid notch. I just can't look at it. It just bugs the hell out of me. Have you heard of that new app called Clubhouse? It's been kind of like taking storm.
Yeah, a listener sent it to us to talk about it, and I just never brought it up to you to talk about. So it's just like an audio chat room, really. So that's pretty much all it is. You have to be invited to use it, but you can like send messages to each other, like talking. People are saying it's like the future, and I think Twitter agrees that it is the future.
Yeah, Twitter's just like any of these big companies. They copy other companies that are getting popular. Remember Google? Was it Google Plus that came out? That was kind of like a Facebook competitor.
Yeah, that lasted like a year, not even a year, maybe.
They had all these great ideas, and Facebook stole them within a month. And Clubhouse has some good ideas, and they were like the talk of the town. And Twitter has already like cloned it. Basically, they have their own Clubhouse style audio chat rooms on called Twitter Spaces, and they're on Android now as well. Clubhouse is yet to be on Android, by the way.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing that's on Twitter. You can leave like audio messages to each other and things like that.
But less cool, because I feel like Clubhouse is like more sophisticated for some reason, and there's a lot of like high profile people on there that are like promoting it.
It's the same thing as like Facebook when it first started out. Well, you had to be in college, but then you also had to be invited into it. So like you had to have somebody invite you to get on it.
Yeah, Clubhouse is a very limited thing.
And that's what they're doing at first to get big, because it's like, well, Elon Musk is on it, and people like that are using it. And
I think on Clubhouse you can have like private rooms, and I think a lot of them are public. And I think you can't record it in the app, so it's supposed to be like free and open, and like I guess somebody could obviously record it secondhand through the mic somehow, but
like Twitter is like just trying to stay relevant. We'll talk about them a little bit later too on our follow-up section, but like they doing this, they had those fleet videos.
I think Fleet died.
Seems like it came and went in a day.
Yeah, when it first came out, there was like maybe 50 people posting fleets, and all of the fleets were just saying, "Oh, this is here," and they're making some sort of joke about Fleet. And then now when I log into Twitter, I see maybe 1 or 2 Fleet videos at the top. And I follow like 300, 400 people.
Ooh, brag. More than my 5 people I follow.
I mean, the brag would be that amount of people follow me. Like, me following a large amount of people just means that I follow a lot of people. I just clicked a lot of buttons.
Well, I think the people that are going to use like that type of technology are just on TikTok or Instagram.
And even Facebook had that, and I don't know how many people use the Facebook one, but I think not very many. And they decided just to roll the Instagram one into Facebook, and if you post on the Instagram one, you could also post it to Facebook.
Yeah, what's still called Reels?
No, Reels is the Instagram thing that copies TikTok.
Okay.
I think they're called Stories. People are making fun of us at home probably right now because we're so old and we don't know this.
We're not hip.
We're not hip. No, I've never posted a story before, and probably will never.
One day, Mike. One day.
One day. That's it for the quick tech bites. We kind of went long on some of them, but whatever. Let's jump into our stories of the week. And the first one is LA restaurants have been struggling with a new form of dine-and-dash. And I read this whole article, And I didn't even think of half of this stuff. Like I I just never realized that this could happen to businesses, and it could be that much of a struggle, and they could lose a lot of money.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of sad. It's like screwing over like local businesses. So it's what a lot of people are doing are fighting claims about like credit card payments, about food, like restaurant bills, or saying they didn't get an item or they never got their delivery, so these places have to refund it. They said like credit card fraud disputes are up 35% over the year. And like people, like the stories I was reading, like person had like a big order, which they said wasn't like, it was like $700, but it wasn't really out of the ordinary for them. And like a week later, the person claimed it was fraudulent, and they just lost the money and all that food that they prepared. And like they're saying, a couple of restaurants had to close just because they were getting hit so hard with this.
Yeah, not only can in some places in the country they can't have like indoor dining and stuff still, or very limited. So like their only, I guess, forms of making money is delivery and carry out and stuff. And they were saying like they have to start taking pictures of every order to make sure that they have some way of disputing these things. They talked about taking IDs from people and like all sorts of stuff to combat this.
This is kind of, it's just sad, like that they have to deal with this. Like, and they were saying like if they do like the third party, sometimes the third party will reimburse them, but a lot of times they're still on the hook for that. Like the one, I forget what they were using, but they
probably DoorDash.
No, it wasn't DoorDash. It was one I've never heard of. It's in this.
It's probably like I think I read an article. It's like I think it's a localized food delivery service.
Yeah, so like the person complained that they got the wrong size. They said it should have been bigger. And the restaurant explained to the third party, we only have one size of that. This is what she ordered. This is what she got. But they sided with the customer, and then they were just out that money, even though like they.
What people don't realize, though, Alex, is maybe since there's all these third-party delivery companies in between you and the restaurant, when you are like doing this, you don't think like in your head, "Oh, I'm hurting the restaurant." They probably think, "Oh, it's this crappy delivery service. They were late on my order and they took a long time, so I'm going to say they forgot an item," or do little petty things like that. And probably the person's not thinking, "Oh, this is affecting the actual restaurant."
Yeah, and it's like when you use like DoorDash or Grubhub, it costs the restaurant more because like they take their cuts. They have to pay the delivery driver and all. So like they already are losing money off those like deals. And then like if these companies aren't like helping them out when something is wrong or somebody's fighting it, it's. I think they said like DoorDash or Grubhub, or like Grubhub DoorDash added like you can click that a order was picked up from you, so at least they know it was like out of the restaurant, so it's either on the driver or the person's lying.
Yeah, if it keeps becoming an issue, I think they're gonna come up with smart ways to combat this and come up with systems and stuff. Like right now, they're just taking pictures and stuff, but maybe in the app will force you to take a picture of your food or something like that. I think I forget what I used before, but they told me to take a picture of what I got. I don't remember what app that was, but yeah, one delivery service I used, they had me take a picture of what I received.
I usually end up just picking my stuff up.
Yeah, that saves you. Plus, you get it quicker, I feel like, and you can eat it in your car while you drive.
That's true. We used delivery once during like the past year, and that was to order pizza from this like a local place, and then that was it really.
We get it all the time at work when we're working. We order from DoorDash, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 it's pretty good, but sometimes they forget stuff, and that's the only time we ever complain. It's obviously when they forget stuff, but sometimes it's not worth complaining because you don't want to wait another 45 minutes to get your additional food. So yeah, let's jump on to our next story. Our next story is about schools have started to abandon invasive proctoring software. I guess this software got rolled out over the past couple years. I think 3 or 4 years. But basically, if you're taking tests for like college or high school, or some colleges, some high schools, they have these crazy exam software security features. Like if you're like my wife is doing some part-time college, and she had to do this where she had to like turn the camera on, she had to turn all the microphones on the computer, and all sorts of stuff. And basically she had to take the test in like a room with no disturbance in it at all, because she was afraid that if there was a noise in the room, they might think that she was cheating or like, doing something to like get a better grade somehow.
Yeah, so like the big complaint is about this company
Proctoring.
It just watches people take the exam so people don't cheat. I don't know. If you're having an exam at home, you should be able to cheat. That's my theory. Use everything in your resources.
E-learning is a scam anyways, learning from home, I think. You can't convince me otherwise that people are actually learning from home that much.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just like an extra step for like people that have to worry about taking this test and being watched. And like they've had issues where like it didn't recognize people because of their skin tone, which that's bad. I don't know how you get, like if you let that one.
Yeah, I think they said they have a Twitter account that just retweets whatever people complain about it, and that the skin tone one came up. Also flagged them cheating due to like anxiety. So if it sensed, because the camera I guess can read your body language and use some sort of artificial intelligence to like look at that and see if you're cheating or not. I don't know how that works honestly, but
like my brother's a teacher, and like he was like telling me like, oh, all these kids got the same grade. He's like, I know they cheated. They can't like prove it, but I know it, and like. Let's let the we don't need these monitoring softwares and all. If people are taking tests at home, let's let them take it and just hope they're being honest and took it fairly.
There has to be a better way than and plus who like this hurts a lot of kids that probably don't have the space to like take a test like this.
Yeah, for like a 1-bedroom apartment or things like that.
Yeah, like. My wife has a room where she studies. She could go there and be like, be fine. But like if you have like 4 or 5 kids running around or siblings or whatever, like they're going to mess with you while you're taking the test or like be in the room and throw the whole, test off.
Yeah, and like having them watch you and listen on the microphones, I just think is like a little much.
Yeah, it's pretty, I think it's invasive.
But a lot of schools are already cutting ties with this company.
Yeah, because of this. They're getting so many complaints from students and teachers that they're starting to cut ties.
And then with everything hopefully going back to normal, you'll see less and less online test taking and all, and move away from this.
I just hate tests in general, honestly. I was always great at the multiple choice test. Like I aced every single multiple choice test I've ever taken, but the fill in the blanks sections or like write a sentence or whatever, no, I don't remember stuff like that for some reason.
I've never been a good test taker.
Yeah,
it's not in my wheelhouse.
But you know what is in wheelhouse? Going to the gas station.
I do love the gas station
and getting gas in your car. You're pretty skilled at that, Alex.
I want to say skill. I do mess up a lot.
You accidentally put the diesel fuel in?
Yeah, or I open the door, not the gas tank, and fill up the car with gas.
Yeah, so lots of hijinks with you and gas. But at City in California, Petaluma, they are banning additional gas stations being built, or they're trying to, and they're trying to limit gas stations that already exist from getting additional pumps.
Yeah, this is kind of neat. So it's only like a city of like 60,000 people. They already have 16 gas stations. I feel like it's enough. They said there's a gas station within 5 minutes of all residents. So they have like this whole new green initiative that they're trying to do, go carbon neutral by 2030. And really it's just like they're stopping from new gas stations being built. these other gas stations, if they want to expand, they can expand, but they would have to just add electrical charging stations. That's the only way they could. I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't make sense to keep building gas stations because 10 years from now, when a lot of cars are electric, what are we going to do with all these gas stations?
I mean, I have 3 gas stations within like 2 minutes of my house, and 2 of them were built in the past year.
Yeah, in Florence, near where I live, there's speedways across the street from each other, like in multiple sections of the road.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I think there's enough gas stations around, especially that it's not a big population. And if I'm one of these 16 gas stations, why would you want more competition?
Yeah.
I want to be mad.
I also think the demand is probably has to be going down on gas as well, just because cars are becoming more efficient. People are driving less because of working from home. I probably spend a lot less on gas now, and I assume a lot of other people do.
That's what I think you're seeing. A lot more gas stations get like fancier, and like that's trying to
like offer like good food items and stuff like that.
Yeah, like your AMPMs, your Speedways, your 7-Eleven gases, Wawa gas, and like things like that are this trying to compete. Yeah, best convenience store in the country.
Yeah.
The number 2 is UDF, but.
Yeah, they're all good. But yeah, I agree. And again, once electric cars are all there, like what are we going to do with all these empty spaces? I guess tear them down and build I guess not build offices cuz people are going to be working from home. So more apartments or
is this what that song is about? They pave paradise and put up a parking lot?
Yeah. They're going to build parking lots to charge cars. That's what they're going to do.
The problem with like gas stations and like mechanic places and like that old Valvoline and all. The problem when you like, if you want to build on those, cause like a lot of them, so you have to like take out those tanks in the ground and all. So it's a lot more expensive to build in those areas, like putting those in and then taking those out and then.
They're gonna turn the old tanks into like bomb shelters or something like that.
I could use a bomb shelter.
So yeah, speaking of electric cars coming. There's a recent study published about mining, like basically saying that mining for electric car batteries actually is hundreds of times better than petrol emission cycles. So I guess this is probably something most people already knew, or they probably didn't need this study. But there's always people who, especially on more conservative news sites, who always talk down electric vehicles for some reason, and just gives more fuel to the fight for electric cars.
Well, yeah, a big knock against electric cars is like, oh, the mining for the raw materials for these batteries are so much, and it's just as worse as oil. And a study pretty much shows it's not. Especially the big difference is, but these batteries can be recycled. And eventually, once we start recycling these batteries, it's going to just pretty much support itself after a while and less raw materials.
Yeah, they said that only 30 kilograms of metals would be lost after recycling a battery. So that's a decent amount of metal they could reuse from the batteries. And then on top of that, on a gas-powered engine, they're burning like fuel like nonstop, like 300 to 400 times the vehicle's weight in gas over its lifetime. And that's like stuff that's not recoverable. Whereas with electric battery cars, a lot of the energy is starting to become clean energy. The batteries are becoming more efficient and cheaper to make. So it's just, I think maybe 5-10 years ago, it's probably more of a maybe electric vehicles are better, but we're getting to the point now where they're substantially better, I think.
Yeah, and they said by 2035, 65% of like the cobalt needed to make new batteries will come from recycled batteries, and a fifth of the lithium and nickel will come from recycled batteries. So like they're getting that technology better, and like you were saying, as the batteries get better, it's just going to be easier to make, and the technology is going to be more efficient. And like just getting, especially right now, I feel like it's the arm race to get the best battery and get your electric car on the market at the best price. So like all these companies are pushing for it, and the technology is just going to get better.
Yeah, I love how much money is behind it right now. It's exciting because there's so many companies looking into it. So we're bound to like get a breakthrough eventually.
And you're seeing, we talked about this on past episodes, gas stations are looking into this. BP said they're not building any more electric gas stations in England, I believe. It's going to be all electric, anything new they built. So like they're seeing the writing on the wall that this is coming.
Yeah, there's car manufacturers that are saying they're not going to make gas engine cars anymore, like by 2035, 2030. And I'm like, they're all buying in. They're all buying in pretty fast. And some of the car manufacturers, like, we see no future in gas engines at all. So
I think Jaguar has just announced that they're going all electric.
Yeah, I saw Volvo, Jaguar, and I don't remember what the other ones were, but there's a couple other brands that kind of said they were going all electric.
Oh, was it? It was either Volvo, Volkswagen. Did you see this article? I didn't send it to you, but they have all these new electric cars, but they're just sitting in like storage because they have to send like an update.
Yeah, that was Volvo. Yeah, they're sitting on like a ship somewhere.
Yeah, so they're just sitting there because they have to send like a system update before they can sell these cars.
Yeah, that is funny that like cars are becoming like technology now, like completely, and basically, I never thought of this happening, but I guess that's about it's going. Like you're going to have to be like a electrical engineer, computer tech person to even like work on a car eventually. So it's just funny, like just how fast things change. It's becoming less mechanical and more like electrical.
It even seems like 5 years ago where like this was like still electric cars were like still like so far off, like, oh, this crazy thing Tesla's doing, and like now like everybody's on board for it.
Yeah, it didn't things change so fast, and it's surprising, like because it seems like all new cars get announced like all the time. So 5 years from now, I really want to see what cars are going to be available for people to buy, because there's probably going to be electric F-150. GM's going to probably have electric truck and all sorts of vehicles. But let's jump into our next story, and I thought this was going to be a bigger one, but we can. It's a developing story, so we'll cover part of it now, and as it goes on, we'll add it into show notes and stuff. But Google plans to stop targeting ads based on your browsing history, and I saw this, and it kind of goes against everything that Google does in my mind, but I think it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, it is odd move, but I wonder if like they're showing like it doesn't matter if we target ads, we can still just sell on how many people buying ads off Google.
Yeah, so basically what they're saying is they don't have to track people anymore, because they can just put you into a segment and market you to that like segment of people. So they don't have to individually track you as much as they used to.
Yeah, like the volume of people that use Google, people are still going to want to advertise on Google. So I think it doesn't make sense for them to having to try to target you.
Basically what they're doing is in the coming months, maybe this year, they're in the Chrome web browser, they're getting rid of third-party cookies. And basically what a third-party cookie is if you go to a website, a third-party company like that has an ad on that website or some sort of tracker can track you from website to website to website and then give you ads based on that. And then second-party cookies are cookies like that you have a partnership. So if you go to like RottenTomatoes.com and they have a partnership with Vox.com, they will share that advertising data with each other and target you that way. And then first-party cookies would be like if you went to like Google.com, basically only Google would target you with cookies and track you. So they're getting rid of the third-party aspect, which means less companies can track you, which is good for like security reasons. But I think it pushes out a lot of Google competitors, and maybe that's why they're secretly doing this, because other companies can't track you as well as Google can.
Yeah, and it makes sense because a big knock against a lot of these internet companies, and Google especially, is like, oh, they're just selling your ads and they know everything about you and all. So if they can say like, oh, we no longer do third party, we no longer use third parties anymore for like cookies, we're not selling your information off. So it kind of makes them look a little bit better in that way as well.
Yeah, it makes them look better, but I'm not sure exactly if it actually is better, So that's why I'm going to track this story, and we'll follow up on it. But I thought it was interesting, and this could change a lot. And I think this is firing back probably at Apple, and they're advertising that they're super secure now, and they don't track their users and stuff. So everybody's going down that route of like trying to keep your data protected and stuff, probably because of lawsuits, honestly, from like countries. I think that's probably what's forcing their hand is lawsuits.
Yeah, I think you're just seeing a lot more countries and governments push back against the internet right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might move away from like the free and wild and open internet with everything that's going on, and Google's trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, and there'll still be a huge player because everybody uses Chrome and all that stuff. But
I'm a Microsoft Edge guy, so
yeah, I actually, honestly, for business related things, I actually switch everything over to Edge. I think it's faster and better, but I already have all my Google stuff logged in on the Chrome browser. So for personal use, I still use Chrome. But hackers out there, please don't hack me. Our next story is a solar panel in space the size of a pizza box is collecting energy and can beam it anywhere on Earth. This is like a new, I guess, test they've been running over the last couple years. And I don't know if they successfully beamed any sort of energy to Earth, but they claim that all of it works.
Yeah, they said they haven't sent anything to Earth, but they said that part of the technology was like the easy part. They've done things like that before. So yeah, it's a floating. Right now, it's a 12 by 12
pizza box.
Yeah, pizza box.
They like to equate it to pizza box for some reason because everybody eats pizza.
Well, yeah, everybody you see like, oh, it's the size of a pizza box, and you're like, oh yeah, it is that size. So, but yeah, it's in space. It goes around it circles the Earth every 90 minutes, looping it. But it gets like blue waves, I guess. So it's more powerful sunlight hitting it because it's not going through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so supposedly, and then they can beam it down and like anywhere. So like remote areas could get electricity if they wanted to. So they say eventually the goal is to have enough of these up there that'll be bigger than any big power plant on Earth. So they can get all this energy and then send it to places.
Yeah, it's a really awesome idea because, there's no gravity in space, so they can build these huge arrays without having to worry about the gravity pulling it down or messing with it at all. And like you said, they can beam it anywhere. So like as an example, they gave in the article that like Texas recently had the ice storm and they cut power out to a lot of the cities. They could strategically beam that power wherever they wanted to. So if Texas was out of power, they could beam that power directly to Texas to the antenna on the ground or beam it to another country. I think it's cool.
You never watched Dragon Ball Z, did you?
No, I did. Yeah. I don't know what you're laughing, but.
Oh, no. I was just thinking when like sending power to help people. It was like when Goku was getting like the spirit bomb and all, sending power to him through around the universe.
I don't think it's going to look like that.
No, it's going to be a giant guy holding a ball of power, and he's going to send it down.
That would be amazing, but no, that's not what's going to happen. They said it's like microwaves that gets converted to energy. And they say that you can't harness it to build a gigantic laser to kill people. I don't know why they covered that in the article, but I guess that's the first thing people think about because they watched a lot of James Bond movies or something.
It was the number one worry. Yes, we like this idea, but could you turn this into a beam?
Yeah, people are asking that. But I think it's a cool idea. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it to work. And also, they said that the cost of getting all those panels up in the space is kind of high right now. But that keeps going down, as we've talked about earlier in other episodes, as more startups come up with reusable rocket technology and stuff.
Yeah, and it's technically called, I want to get that out there, the photovoltaic radio frequency antennas.
Oh, we're not getting that scientific on this show.
But it's actually and it was like a joint venture between like the Pentagon and the U.S. Navy, I believe. So which would make sense for them if they, like on ships and all, if they can beam energy to these ships.
Yeah, the first people are going to use it, obviously, for war.
Yeah.
They're going to beam. I mean, it makes sense for that, too. You can beam power to like remote army bases or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be used for a lot of things, good and bad.
Well, and this leads right into our next topic, protecting our space.
I know. This is a funny news story just because of the title alone. But this I'm not sure if it's a company. It's just like a center that studies things. They're called the CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, like a groupthink type thing. But their study is called The Defense Against the Dark Arts in Space, Protecting Space Systems from Counter-Space Weapons.
Yeah, so the rise of like China and Russia, they're building an arsenal of weapons that can destroy or disrupt satellites. I'm sure the U.S. is doing the same thing. It just makes sense that we would. But they're saying like we need a way to defend our satellites from these attacks. And they didn't really like give ideas. They have like what we should do. Like, oh, there should be something that grabs something in space, you know. But like, I'm sure like the U.S. is already working on some stuff to protect satellites. And
yeah, all I know is they're really nerdy because they kept talking about Harry Potter in this study. And they said we used the term dark arts because Harry Potter. And I've never read Harry Potter, so I don't know the reference. But they kept talking about Harry Potter, so.
Well, the dark arts, so they have in Harry Potter, they have a class, the Defense Against the Dark Arts, to kind of teach you to protect yourself against like the bad magic out there. And like how to defend it and what type of magic it is and all. So
I guess in their mind, China and Russia's weapons against satellites are magic?
I believe so.
Okay. So science is magic to them. But anyways, like you said, their ideas was a grabber type robot that could pull satellites that were dead out of orbit or to a different spot. They also had an idea that to basically add a bunch of sensors to satellites and stuff so they could communicate with each other and see threats coming. And then their final idea was to design like better architecture for satellites in orbit so they have varying orbit. So that way, if they shoot one satellite, it won't take down a bunch of satellites. It would be harder to like destroy them, I guess. But we rely so much on satellites. That's why this is so important, because GPS is satellites. Pretty much a lot of what we use is satellite based. So if a bunch of them get taken offline, we're pretty much in the dark.
Yeah, like it's in that one documentary I saw, Independence Day.
Yeah.
You know, the satellite get offline and they have to use Morse code back and forth to send the messages across the world.
Do people even know how to use Morse code anymore?
I think so. I think they still teach it, I imagine.
Yeah.
I went to a museum once and you can try it and they have the different codes and you can try to spell your name.
It seems like in movies that's always a trope that everybody knows Morse code somehow. And when somebody's trapped, they always send out a message via Morse code, and somebody in the movie knows how to like read it. Like, oh, that's a message.
Well, SOS, I think is it 3 short, 3 long, 3 short, or is it 3 long, 3 short, 3 long?
Wow,
That's
they
why
should cast you in a
SOS is a
movie.
thing.
You should write movies.
I learned it at a museum.
Yeah, exactly. We have a couple of follow-up stories real quick, and
yeah, did you take off the Twitter one? Or
oh, yeah, I might have, because I felt like we were talking too much about Twitter. But yeah, there's a follow-up story about Twitter and super tweets and
Well, yeah, you can. I did say we were going to talk about it later, but they're saying they're going to start like a $4.99 plan and like kind of like a Patreon if you have like listen to podcasts and all. But you can pay for people's tweets, which I don't see the market for it. Like,
no, I'm not
Twitter's
paying for a
like,
tweet. No thanks.
No, like it's not like that fun of a medium where like I have to get this information. Like the information will be out there, and like you can't really do that much fun stuff on Twitter. So this Twitter's trying something. They must not be doing well. They're just trying to get revenue somehow, and I just don't think this is going to last.
No, I don't either. The next follow-up story is we talked about right to repair a couple episodes back, but the European Union just passed like a new bill or new rules, basically saying that electronic manufacturers of not necessarily computers or anything like that yet, but that's next. But right now they're targeting appliances. But basically they're saying that appliances have to meet some requirements now. They have to last 10 years. They have to be easily repairable. They have to come with manuals and easily taken apart with tools that are commonly found. Basically because there's so much waste and things are designed to not be taken apart, and you can't find parts for anything like a lot of times, and yeah, it's a big waste.
Well, they're saying like they're finding like stuff is like breaking down right after warranty. So like I feel like these products just aren't designed now to last that long. But if you're buying like a refrigerator or like big appliances like that, you want to be able to fix them. So that's why they're like requiring them to come with manuals, and they have to make the parts for the next decade, which is like annoying. Like, oh, we don't make that anymore, and they might change something like us. Like,
yeah,
one
I
part.
think 10 years to me is like the bare minimum. Like if my appliance that I spent $1,500 on is not going to last 10 years, then I don't know what's wrong with the world.
I think everybody compares like their appliance to like the phone, like phones, and like. Yeah, with your phone, for one, you do use it every day, but we're getting to the point with phones where people aren't upgrading them as fast as they used to. Because the technology is getting a little bit more stagnant.
Yeah.
Like, it's still increasing, but, like, people, like, I'm not going to shell out $1,000 every 2 years for a phone. Like, I might wait 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, I was a one phone a guy year, and then I probably 2 to 3 years now on a phone.
Yeah, so I think, like, the technology is going to get, like, a little bit better and better, but I think that's why, like, Apple's, like, slowly delaying the releases of the new phones now. I think they might be seeing that.
Yeah.
Where people aren't upgrading as fast as they used to.
Let's make this the Twitter poll of the week. Would you rather your devices last super long, be easily repairable, or would you rather... get a new, nice, shiny device every couple years?
Make it last. Well, if it's going to be every New Year's, the price has to go down. You can't expect to charge the same price and things to get better. But you can, hit us up on the Twitter poll. Do you have the results from the last Twitter poll?
So last week's Twitter poll of the week, we said, which would you rather see cloned? Pets, recent extinct or endangered species, dinosaurs, or humans. And surprisingly, I thought a lot of people would say dinosaurs. But I guess the people who voted listened to the episode, and we were convincing enough with our recent animals one where 50% of the people voted for that.
Yeah, I voted for that one.
Yep. So people want recent extinct animals back. Give us our passenger pigeons, please. And
you said this was at like 80 million people voted?
Yeah. 80 million. The least amount, I guess dinosaurs and humans were tied, so they're about the same.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. They're both scary.
Yeah, and humans are acting like dinosaurs lately. I don't know what that means.
We had one more follow-up story that you wanted to cover, and that was about Cinemark.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that Disney is not showing no movies in Cinemark. Cinemark said no. So let's follow up to like our HBO Max story where everybody was upset at HBO Max because they were simultaneously releasing the movies on HBO Max, like the big Warner Brother movies like Wonder Woman or the new Tom and Jerry, and the theaters. But I guess like they gave them like a good deal so that they'll still sell them in the theaters. But I guess like Disney was still like gung ho on like the original deals that doesn't make a lot of money for theaters. And like Disney still, you can buy it through Disney for $35.
Yeah, no, Disney is notorious for going to theaters and say, hey, here's our deal, take it or leave it. We're not going to negotiate it. And I guess that deal was not beneficial at all to the theater. So Cinemark decided to opt out. And I think probably AMC's doing it. Honestly, AMC's a pushover lately.
Yeah, they're so worried about lasting, and then worried about giving their CEO $3 million bonus.
But I don't think Disney really cares about theaters anymore.
No, they're all gung ho about like the Disney Plus and all. But I mean, eventually these movies are going to be on Disney Plus. I'm not going to pay to see them at my house. It's going to be interesting, like when a movie finally makes money. Like it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be like it might be a big studio film, but like a movie's gonna make a lot of money, and I'm like, well, maybe we should go back to the theaters. Hopefully, it's King Kong versus Godzilla, but
you do famously have a bet that we're not gonna have $100 million movie this year, and I think
weekend,
what.
I think I clarified opening weekend, but I don't think we might get we're not going to get to 100 million until at least after June.
Oh yeah, opening weekend's kind of hard to do with $100 million. I kind of agree. Yeah, we're not going to have $100 million opening weekend. I think that's rare, anyways.
And we've been hitting it more consistently lately with the Marvel movies and all, and like big Universal movies. I feel like they've been hitting it more consistently recently, but I think it's going to be hard.
So, no, I'm excited to get back to the theaters. Honestly, I'm hoping to get vaccinated soon, and if a lot of people get vaccinated, then companies will feel better putting movies into theaters probably because customers will be willing to go. So that's what we're waiting on right now is that domino effect.
Well, that was HBO Max's thing. It was just for this year. So I think they were just like hedging their bets. And like if you looked at the numbers for Wonder Woman, they had a lot of views of Wonder Woman, so like it made sense for them. Like
and
Wonder
honestly,
Woman did decent.
I don't know if that was good though, because I think it wasn't received very well, and those numbers, people wouldn't have paid that much money to see that movie in theaters. It would have. I think it would have bombed in theaters, and
no, it would have made no money.
No way.
Weekend, I think it would have made no money, and then people were like, it's not that good. But I think opening weekend, it would have made no money and then had a big drop-off.
It would have had a decent opening weekend, but it would have had a big, huge drop-off. And I feel like they probably would have not made a sequel to that. But since it got such a big viewership on HBO, that it's going to get a sequel now, probably.
I thought they announced the sequel before it even came out.
Yeah, but they do that all the time, and they cancel them. Like, They announced 7 Power Rangers movies at one point, and they made 1.
And we won them. The movie was good. I like the Power Rangers movie.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's better than people give it credit for. We talked about this before, where I think like the people a little bit older than us, like the big like Ninja Turtle fans and all that, or like that age group that they were kids when that came out, always kind of badmouth like Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, because like, that was lame because they were like teenagers when that stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, all they do is like badmouth that stuff, but all that stuff's good.
I wasn't a big Power Rangers show fan. I for some reason my parents didn't let me watch it, and
it was themed violent. I don't know. But
maybe there was magic in it or something. My parents were like kind of anti-magic stuff.
Well, that's why I never read Harry Potter.
Well, also his doofus-looking glasses and his stupid face.
Yeah. Reminded you too much of yourself?
No, I just didn't like his face. The actor that played him.
Yeah, you've been anti-Daniel Radcliffe for a long time.
Well, I didn't like the girl in that movie either. I didn't like her face either.
Emma Watson?
Yeah, I just can't stand looking at her face. It's
what
just
about,
she always has like an awkward look, like she can't act or something. Like she.
What's his name? Rupert Grint? Is that his name? Ron Weasley character, the other guy.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just knew that the two main people that everybody talked about, I'm like, I can't stand their faces, so I'm not going to watch these movies.
You made that stance.
I did, and I will forever be that way. So, all right. Thanks for listening to the Future Jam. We went long, but hopefully you had enjoyed it. So,
have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, follow us on all the socials at the Future Jam on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You've just listened to some previous episodes and get the drop there. We're not doing that anymore.
Oh, we'll do it next week.
We'll do it. We're taking it off tonight. Taking the drop off. Have a good one. Bye.